Yeah.
is what I had to get in there.
Kind of
you
all
know
together,
what I mean?
yeah.
Absolutely. I have my favorites. Mine again being Fury Road, and in kind of a descending order, whatever. But that's why I say Fury Road, just picking the one movie rather than the whole.
Wasn't that your favorite movie of the last 10 years too?
It was.
That's right.
It was,
Yeah.
which is odd. Is odd
Yeah.
for me for it to be that kind of a movie.
Yeah.
And that new. No, I'm just kidding.
It was the last decade.
I'm just messing.
I almost had one of my favorite movies make the list too.
Okay.
In the last 10 years too, which I have a whole bunch of honorable mentions. But damn, you threw me for a fucking loop right there, man.
Well,
I thought it was going to be Beyond Thunderdome because that's my number 2.
I gave you the rope-a-dope.
I know you fucking totally, but I could have put all the Mad Max movies on there. I left Fury Road off on purpose just because
I know you like the
I like
original.
Thunderdome.
The Thunderdome's a great movie. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
I love the soundtrack, everything.
How can you not? Tina Turner, dude.
It's Tina Turner. 2-man enter, 1-man leave.
That's right.
That's why that's my number.
Master Blast.
That's my number 2.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. But
Yeah.
like I said, Road Warrior is a great movie. Those are all right there. That was your number. Road Warrior was what?
Number 3.
You put all those movies in there the way you're going to have them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really like the head piece.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? That
Yeah.
is the post-apocalyptic.
Is the crowning achievement of the whole series as far as like overall. I think it's, like you said, Mad Max and Fury Road kind of stand on their own as good bookends, but at the same time, that one is such a fucking thrilling, badass movie.
It never
Everybody puts it on
stops,
there.
man. It's just it is 100% go.
From the beginning, which is awesome.
And I know that they change actors, but man, Tom Hardy just kills it. And the fact that he doesn't speak words for a long time helps that. And then you pick it up in the way, and we've talked about this, of course, but in his actions, things like that. And then you're like, I believe that this is the same character.
Yeah.
Your mind's like, oh, accepting.
I watched a whole YouTube video about the timeline of that, which they kind of have a point. There becomes a time in the timeline where Tom Hardy looks like he's 25, 26 or I'm over exaggerating, but so technically Fury Road is supposed to take place after Thunderdome, a lot closer than you think it is.
Right.
Because
100%.
Because he talks about being a cop and everything like that, but it looks like it's actually further down the road, which is a weird part of the timeline. But then they've also said that Max is a legend, that people tell around campfires and shit like that. So it's kind of like Max could be a whole bunch of different people put together. But
he did have a whole lot of things that happen in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And if you do go that way, that's going to spread pretty quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In like 20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
But these people, the war boys and everything in that movie look like they've been there for a long time because they have all of those, whatever you call them, the cancers and everything like that in their bodies. People look like they have lived a long time in that world, just like in Thunderdome too.
Yeah.
But Thunderdome was more rust.
Yeah.
This was more like maybe it was 10 years after or something like that. That would have placed Max because Max would have been 40 years old in Thunderdome. So he would have been 50, but he doesn't look 50. That's the big fallacy of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the big thing that kind of confuses it.
I think if no one ever said anything, this movie could take place anywhere in this series. You could say this happened after Mad Max.
Yeah.
This happened after Road Warrior.
Yeah.
Before Thunderdome.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah, it could have actually
now,
happened
unless somebody
before.
says, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is what I'm making."
Yeah. And I don't think George Miller ever put it that way, because like Thunderdome, again, is like, I don't know, the way that the kids, and there's generations of kids that are there, is like kids were having kids. Remember this? Remember this? Mrs. Walker. Remember this? Mr. Walker. Remember this? Yeah, no, I love that movie. I saw that movie in the theater, you know, and seeing it for the first time. That was awesome. And then fucking, that's your number one, you bamboozled son of a bitch. Fucking threw me for a loop. I thought it was going to be Thunderdome, man. I really did.
That's all right.
Okay. All right.
Feel like it's all good. Back to you, Mitch.
Well, I got to throw out a few honorable mentions here.
Honorable mentions. Mentions that are very honorable.
Like Pacific Rim. I really liked the first one. It was a good action movie. It was technically post-apocalyptic because all the aliens came in and like wiped them out, and this is them like rebuilding their society.
Yes.
Trying to fight back for another one if it happens. A Quiet Place, THX 1138. Even though I have not seen it,
Great movie.
Really?
I have not actually seen
It is not.
What the hell's wrong with you?
It is not very good.
No,
but
but it's worth watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robert
I think
Duvall
it's one
is
of those
awesome.
that I will eventually, but I've just never taken that dive.
Watch the short film first. His student film. Lucas's student film, THX 1138. Then watch the production.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll help.
It'll
Good
make
call.
more sense. Yeah.
Okay. A little project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Snowpiercer was like probably my number 6.
That was on my honorable mention list too.
Yeah. I mean, I absolutely love that one. I like that movie, but my number one movie is something close to my heart just because of the career that I desired, audio engineer and went to school for a little bit and all this other stuff. But I really, really enjoy WALL-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a post-apocalyptic movie.
100%.
So that's honestly my number one because of how they were able to convey so much without having to say anything with just the CGI, of course, of the animation of the actual characters, but also the sounds.
Yes.
The sounds have a huge impact on that movie. So being able to go through most of the movie without saying anything and just expressing and like using sound of the environment or of the quirky little things that he does or whatever it is. Those little
He's all alone.
He's all alone, man.
It's
and he's
fucking
just got,
awesome.
He's just got nothing.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies where you see, of course they do eventually talk, because of the people on the spaceship, but
Yeah.
the whole movie itself being post-apocalyptic and trying to get back to society to be able to regrow, and they don't really tell you what exactly happened. They always allude to it, but what a good movie. Pixar is just top dog when it comes to that kind of shit.
Well, whenever Eva, basically
Yeah.
like she shuts down after she sees the plant, and then he's just walking around with her, pulling her everywhere, and he gets fucking electrocuted, and then like
cute as
has her on a string and shit like that, plugged into lights. Fucking love that movie. I've
So
watched it so
funny.
many times. Yeah.
And I mean, like, to be able to just express that much with just, of course, the CGI and how they animated it, but also the sound, because it plays so well with it. And as I've said on the podcast before, a beautiful thing about audio is if you do it right, you don't think about it.
Correct.
It's just right. It just sounds like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. But WALL-E will always be a favorite movie of mine. And for post-apocalyptic, I didn't think about it, and I saw it, and I was like, I need this.
Yeah. I know we were talking about it, and you were surprised that I liked it.
I'm surprised you thought about it as a post-apocalyptic, because I was like, oh, okay, bravo,
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm really excited. And that was my number one. I was like, oh crap, I wonder if he's going to put it on this list.
My son was growing up when my youngest was growing up about that time when those Pixar movies started really happening.
Really going.
So we watched them all the time, and I loved them.
Yeah, they're great.
I like all the Pixar movies. I really do. I'm like, oh man,
they're good.
They don't do bad very often. And
No.
I mean, I don't
Can
really
you
know
name
if
a
they
bad
have.
one?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
They went through 4 Toy Stories.
Yeah.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Like, second movies normally are just so awful.
Yeah.
Right.
So to make it through 4
And
and they're
all good.
still doing really good,
I haven't seen the 4th. Is it really awesome?
Yeah,
good.
it's really
it's
good.
enjoyable.
it's
yeah.
a little heart-wrenching too,
Yeah.
but aren't they all?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
They just
It's-
want to hurt us inside. That's the goal.
To me, it didn't have a huge climax. It didn't have a big build-up. There was no like furnace that was about to engulf them. That
I
kind of
cried.
thing. Dude. Yeah, seriously though,
Me and my wife were both sitting in the theater with my youngest, and we were like,
this is so sad.
I didn't like, bullet cry.
I don't
I'm
know.
a man, goddammit.
Maybe on a quick cast like a year ago we talked about this, but I remember that movie having a special edit. Do you guys remember this? So the kid edited the video so it looked like that was the end. And as they're about to go in before the claw comes down, he edits it to fade black.
Oh.
And then the credits roll and he edits it to look all legit.
Nice.
And so he has it all set up for his mom. Plays it for him at like a family get together. Most of the family has already seen it. The mom hasn't. Plays the entire thing and it gets to that scene and it ends. Then she goes in, talks to the family that most of them have seen it. And she's talking and she's like, yeah, I hated it. And everybody's like, really? We all loved it. It was great. And everybody, she's like, really? And she's like battling them of like, and then she's just like, I just don't like how it ended. And they're like, oh, like what? And then they start antagonizing that a little bit more. And then finally the uncle's like, wait, what'd you just say? The ending, like how they all die? Like what? And they just start dying laughing because it was hilarious.
That's
But
awesome.
It's so funny.
I digress.
Yeah, no,
That's all right.
Wally's it's a great movie.
I love it.
It's a repeated watcher.
Definitely not
Especially if
a
you got
normal
kids.
post-apocalyptic.
No, not
but
at all.
I'm not normal.
I think
do
that's
wanna
I think that's
Second
what's
A Quiet
cool.
Place too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
So good.
So good.
I'm feeling good.
Do you want to hit my number one?
Let's hear it.
Day of the Dead.
Oh.
Day of the Dead is my number one because it does take place after everything's gone.
Yeah.
I love the characterization. You don't really get to see a lot of the cities except for at the very beginning. And I love George Romero. I love all of his movies. We got a Dawn of the Dead poster in the studio.
Yes,
Come
we
on.
do.
That's my favorite movie of all time. You know, Dawn of the Dead. Greatest movie ever made.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
That like ever.
It's my favorite movie of all time.
Dan has something to say about
yeah.
that.
No, I don't. I don't have. There's no disrespect in that.
Yeah,
That's
no.
that's. It's just. I could see it. I just
know-
think there's other options
Yeah,
out there.
well, I know the merits of it, and I also know the detractors of those merits.
sure.
But I love the movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Day of the Dead is the same way. Day of the Dead is one of those movies that you keep. And Romero put it in an interview. He said all the ghouls, you know, all the real big trolls that like my movies really love this movie, you know. And Day is awesome. You know, Bub is awesome. Fucking Captain Rhodes is fucking awesome. Fucking Lori Cardille, she's fucking awesome. Everybody's in that fucking movie that is fucking awesome. He's like, hey, Sarah, darling. And then we put them down here. But I love the message in that movie too. So
What's the message?
You know,
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
well, it's
He
really
was
cool.
about to give you the message.
Yeah, you need to watch it. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Gotta watch it, man.
I feel like I have a whole
Is it
new
the-
list of things to
Yes.
watch now.
Oh, for sure.
you need
Yes.
to watch the.
I think we all do, and that's the idea.
Yes, I think you need to watch the Unholy Trilogy. Start with fucking Night, watch Dawn, and then watch Day. Don't worry about the rest of them. They have their own place, but wait 20 years to watch them.
Roger that.
Yeah, because Day, I first saw it, you know, written the video, and I fucking loved it. I got the soundtrack downloaded.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a pretty fucking awesome movie. And you know, they used the soundtrack. One of the main themes of that movie, they used it on Stranger Things in the last season.
Ooh.
You know, in the mall.
Yeah.
Because they went and saw Day of the Dead in the mall.
Right.
But yet they were using the theme whenever the ice cream, you know, the Scoops Ahoy's
Yeah.
employees were, you know,
That place was
together. They
hilarious.
were playing that. They were playing the like almost the love theme from Day of the Dead. And I was looking at my wife like, oh, that's Day of the Dead. He's like, I don't fucking care.
That season of Stranger Things is one of the few seasons where I just don't know why, but it didn't like resonate with me.
It was because of Hopper.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was.
It just
he
felt-
was cool, but he was like he was.
Over
I don't know.
glorified.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
was
don't-
put
I
on a
just-
pedestal as
yeah.
like this Hopper character. So
Yeah.
he was like over exaggerated almost.
He was cool in the first two seasons, and
Yeah,
that
he
last
was
one,
great.
he was like, "Okay, you're dead."
Yeah.
He looked like Chuckles from GI Joe the movie.
G.I. Joe, the combat hoe.
GI Joe. GI Ho, the combat ho.
Boom.
That's my money, ho.
Would you consider 10 Cloverfield Lane
Yes.
the post-apocalyptic movie? That was one of my honorable mentions, just because I was like, I didn't know if it really fell into it. I felt like it was, but you could also consider that maybe it's still just beginning at some point to some degree. You know, just depending on what your perception of time is.
Yeah. He's so far out, you
right.
know, where she was at. So
Who was that? That was in
John
that?
Goodman.
Okay, so that was the one. So doesn't it happen during the movie?
No. She, it's like the same day. You're right, but it's a different outbreak of Cloverfield monsters because the first one landed in New York or appeared in New York, right?
So this was the second one.
I didn't think it was the same day because why would he have? I don't know. I didn't.
But
think
it was,
the same day.
you know, and I might,
thought it
might
was
be
like
wrong.
weeks and,
Well,
like,
yeah,
don't know,
because the first one that was the first movie, was the big one.
yeah.
But then they had this other
had that,
event,
like,
other event that
personal
happened.
cam or whatever.
Yeah. So I think it was on the news and everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a different movie than the first one.
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. That was one of the
Much
better
better.
performances I'd seen.
Very